By the time your Kundalini has risen through the Sushumna a few times, by the time your consciousness has awakened and you are now living the life of a Jivan Mukta. In other words, you are living your life liberated from the shackles of the cycle of karma. You've come out of that loop. You've come out of the ideation of the body as your self. You now know that it's a vehicle, and you're able to absolutely transcend all that is around you, so that you are ever present to right now, because everything is existing in that one dot, in that one point. You have come to that one point. What happens when you still have that physical body? And before I came to the point of beginning to even have the idea of indulging in this particular post, the thought of Mahavatar Babaji came to me. Now, Mahavatar Babaji was born a normal person, a normal being, a normal household, whatever normal means, but generally not much to report about, except he was kidnapped. At the times that he was born at a time when a lot of children were going missing, and fortunately for him, he was taken under the wing eventually, after a lot of other things happened, under a guru, and he was taught two very great lessons, the Kriya Yoga and Kundalini. They say that he's the only living yogi who's been living for over 5,000 years. So the question is, why is he still living in body? Why does he still have the body? Why has he not shed the body? Because you can carry on living as long as, and we know that we live eternally, we know that this body is just a house. So why has he chosen not to shed the house? And there are so many others that you will find in different dimensions, in different portals, that still wear the same body. They have found no reason to let that body go. Now, does that body still indulge in the sensory experiences? Do you think that if you were to still carry on having a sensory experience whereby you're perceiving the outside world and then being hit by it so that it goes inside of you, when you do that, your prana goes into that. Your prana is involved in that perception of what is outside, and you're still involved in the gathering of the experience, in gathering if this bank of varied consciousness. But when you get to that state, to maintain that state, or to maintain that state of being embodied and still not having aged beyond 25. Some who have seen him, whether they've had a vision of him or whether they've actually had a dream of him or spoken about him, or people have described him, and they've always described him as being very youthful. And one of the experiences that you will also encounter yourself as you start to go deeper and deeper into the self, so that there is no more involvement with the body and the bodily senses, so that all the senses are now turned inward. your body on the outside might start to glisten and radiate. And you still remain in that body. But why don't you shed that body? So that is a post for another day. We will delve into why we still maintain that body. Now, a lot of us who will be these embodiments of this higher consciousness, which we all are at all times, but it's the awareness and it's the bringing in of that which we are into the here and now of our bodily consciousness. It's that marriage that has to take place. And when that marriage takes place, which is now the sex that we talk about, it is the marriage of the microcosm and the macrocosm. It is not the sex as we have been conditioned to know, which is why when you hear that word, you have so many associations with it, and some of you might consider it quite disrespectful to use that term with Kundalini. Yet, Kundalini is the very mechanism through which all that exists and has come to be is. And that mechanism is sex. That is the creative potential in action. That's what it is. So when you are still embodied, but you're now embodying the highest consciousness, you are no longer spilling outward, and you are no longer taking in anything either from your environment, which is why you might find yogis sometimes sitting or in one position for years and years and years and years, or in sadhana, in meditation for years and years and years, and this goes on and on and on, like Mahaavatar Babaji for more than 5,000 years. Yeah? By complete and total engagement within, then there is no out. And this is exactly what happens to some of us who start to enter into that pada, the points of shunya, the void. When we start, now when Kundalini starts to rise and you've broken the third knot, you pass the Rudra Granthi and you're now up above, and it has come there. Now this is where a lot of us will no longer feel anything down below. Please do not confuse this with the Kundalini awakening. This is a Kundalini rising. And awakening still needs to go through all of that purification. It needs to go through everything to then get everything set and ready for the Kundalini to rise through the Sushumna Nadi. Not Ida, not Pingala, nothing. It must rise from the middle channel, from the Merudanda, from that which holds everything together. When the Kundalini then rises and it has broken the Rudra Granthi and it has risen, this is when you cannot engage with sexual union that is not holy communion. It is almost impossible, and by this point a lot of you will naturally become celibate. Now this natural celibacy means you will no longer have any desire to indulge in sex with another or sexual union with another, because you are either about to get into union between yourself, so you're going to the point of absolute evolution, of consciousness, and now you're returning to source. When you do that, you're retracing back to where there was nothing. You're entering the point of void. Now, when you're entering the point of void, this is different from when you are meditating and you're accessing those points, or you're accessing your 5D consciousness, you're accessing higher consciousness, coming back, coming to ground zero, and then being able to easily create. Now, what we are talking about is very, very different. When you go past and you enter that realm and you start to live like a Jivan Mukta, there is then no desire to engage in sexual union. You can procreate if that is part of the course, but very rarely, if you've come to that point, will it then be part of it. Very rarely. It will have something to do with the nature of the child that is to come out of this union, that will determine whether there is to be union or not. And even if there is to be, the mother and father will already have some kind of part to play in this. But if you're somebody who's gotten to this stage, this is the stage of absolute celibacy. This is the stage where a lot of you will simply no longer be able to engage in transactional relationships, in transactional sex. And to experience sexual union for you is nothing less than a love letter to your soul. It is nothing less than you communicating with the divinity that you are. And unless you're going to enter into that kind of heights with absolute divine union, then you're not going to indulge with anything less than this. Now, this is where so many have idealized this state, and you have the twin flames, you have the Ardha Narishwar, the half of each other, that you and I are half, that the soul was split into two. And therefore, we will continuously be pining for one another because there's always going to be a part of you that is missing. Yet, the precursor to a reunion of that, or to coming together with that twin flame or to your other part, is to find wholeness in this part. Now, this entire story of being whole before meeting the other applies to absolutely everything. It's to you, the microcosm and the macrocosm, because by the time you reach into that union with self, union within you, then there will be no need for the other. There'll be no need for you to pine for that union. So similarly, when Shiva and Shakti meet within us, when that intertwine, that play takes place, the solar, the lunar, the fire, the energies, everything comes together, then there is no other. When there is no other, there is no desire to want to experience yourself in the other. This is why Kundalini is not meant to be awakened. Kundalini awakening, whilst you may find a lot of it happening or you hear a lot about it now, for the human to experience itself as the human within the five senses, and for the human species and for the human race to continue, Kundalini awakening is not necessary, because once you've awakened the Kundalini and once you have arisen the Kundalini, then the desire to create almost diminishes or vanishes, which is why the very few in the world who would have reached this point, you will often find them being on their own physically. And it will either be after they've had children, if they had children, or it'll just be when they've never had any children, or people that you've never heard of random. Yeah? So I'm leaving you with something to think about this time. That when you get to that certain point, you see, so many of you come back saying, you're having all of these experiences, you'd rather be on your own, you're feeling isolated, yet there is still that pining. But when you get to this stage, this particular stage of Kundalini rising, when Shiva and Shakti meet, when there is now union, there is now the height of sex within you, and you have taken it away. You see, when Kundalini awakens, that boiling point is still at the bottom as well, when it keeps going and going and going. And this is where some of the techniques that are used, depending on the path that you're on, if it is on Kriya Yoga, if you are doing Kundalini Yoga or different types of yoga or pranayama or Bhakti Yoga. In fact, if you are a Bhakt and you are simply enamored, you're in love, like Radha Krishna, Mirabai, if you're completely imbibed in that, you're absorbed in the love, the divine, then you need no technique, because that in itself is what is going to bring you everything to you. It's going to come to you. You're not going to go look for it. Otherwise, if you are a karma yogi or you are a kriya yogi, then you will use your breath. And one thing you're going to realize is, when you are in that state of utter arousal, and if you were to use your breath, you will not feel anything at that point, because you have redirected everything above. But you need the consciousness as well in order to do this, which is why, if it hasn't happened naturally, then don't force it to happen. Allow it to happen, and happen when it is going to happen, so that you have the vehicle in terms of your consciousness to carry Mother, to carry Kundalini, to carry that source of who we are, why we are, that makes us see one another, have our senses, have the illusion. The Maya is Ma Kundalini. Sending you so much love.